think there's a lack of evidence of people in the Bible, what's the evidence of Napoleon? So this took me down a rabbit hole. I didn't realize there was a whole group of people out there who thought that Napoleon didn't exist. But if you want to pick somebody from history and say that they don't exist, you might want to go with somebody a little more abstract. Because just like every other dictator or wannabe dictator, Napoleon was an egomaniac. That's why he stood for several portraits to be done of him. That boy constantly wanted to have his picture done. Hey Nappy, can I call you Nappy? That's a little over the top now, come on. But during his lifetime, he was probably one of the most well written about and documented people. Even by Americans. He sold Thomas Jefferson the Louisiana Purchase. That's why we have the middle of our country right now. And he even signed the treaty himself. And he stamped it with the French seal. And when I say French seal, I mean this kind of seal. Not this kind of seal. Now, were there some inaccuracies about Napoleon's life? Probably. Like the rumor that Napoleon was very short when he was actually average height for the time. But now let's get back to the crux of this argument, shall we? If the argument is, I can't prove that Jesus or Mary or somebody from the Bible didn't exist, so you can't prove that Napoleon existed, I don't think that means what you think it means. But the key difference here is, my dude, if there was evidence that Napoleon didn't exist, or we had a lack of evidence of Napoleon existing, I'm fine with not believing that. But even religious scholars will tell you that there's no direct evidence that people like Moses ever existed. He was basically like the Jewish King Arthur. There's no evidence of him parting the Red Sea or any of the Exodus story, actually. And if he did, he was the worst navigator in history. He made his people wander through the desert for 40 years when it was only a 6-day walk. You gotta think at some point people would be like, why are we following this guy? He doesn't know where he's going. He says that God gave him directions, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know. But if Christians want to say that Napoleon didn't exist, I guess I could use the same argument that they use back at me. You can't prove that he didn't exist.